not a sunny day, but it's looking pretty cold. Perfect to be inside watching us there from our Alienate camera in Ridgefield, Washington. Welcome back to Afternoon Live. Our next guest always encourages us to go a little bit beyond our comfort level when it comes to intimacy with our partner. And today is no different. Now we welcome back sex coach Christine D'Angelo. Okay, Christine, what do you have me and my husband up to now? He's at home too, I think. He might even be watching, so now the expectations might be kind of high if he's seeing this. Wow, all right, but that's what we're talking about today, right? Kicking it up a little bit.
Yeah, so I want to introduce this idea of erotic self-interest. And I want to also talk about the distinct separation between self-interest and selfishness. Okay, so selfishness is really looking out for your own well-being and having a lack of consideration for other people. So self-interest is still looking out for your own well-being while also having consideration for other people.
Okay.
So in this situation, we're talking about relationships and sex, right?
Right.
So we're looking at, oh, I'm looking out for my own well-being during sexual experiences, but I'm also considerate of my partner's pleasure and experience at the same time.
Okay.
So what happens when you start to practice this erotic self-interest is you start moving more out of goal-focused sex, and it's moving more towards pleasure-focused sex.
Okay.
So it's really allowing mindfulness and playfulness and creativity because it's coming from a place of, I want this. I want to try this. I want to experience this thing, whatever it is, with my partner.
Okay, so how do you even start to come up with those things that you want to try?
Well, the first thing I suggest doing is really giving yourself permission as an individual to explore your values, attitudes, and beliefs when it comes to sex and sexuality. What are your likes and dislikes? What are your turn-ons and turn-offs? And the more you can understand that, you can better communicate that with your partner and be like, hey, I read about this thing. I read about this position. I read about this lubricant. Let's try it. And that way you're coming from a place of self-interest. You're like, I want to try this thing, and I think you're also going to benefit from it too.
So what are some things that are maybe the first steps that you would say to try?
Okay, try with your approach of touch, just on yourself and with a partner. Try slowing down your touch. So when you are touching your partner, we're usually touching the way we think they want to be touched.
Right.
Right? So what happens when you touch with self-interest is you're touching for your own pleasure. So it allows you to slow down and take information in through your hands, whereas usually our hands are always doing stuff for us. Information's going out. So when you slow down your touch, your partner receives that touch, and it's communicated as intention. It's communicated as affection and admiration, because you're actually like, oh wow, I've never noticed your skin was so soft right there. Or wherever you're exploring on their body, you're going about it in a really slow and intentional way.
How do you bring it up to your partner that there's certain things that you've been doing that are not things that you've liked, or not things that are pleasing you, and maybe you have been, fine, you know what I mean? What are certain ways that you could bring that up?
Do you mean like how do you bring up more, how to move away from stuff?
Well, as far as if you're bringing in these new things, saying, okay, now I want to try this, now I want the new, and it's like, because I didn't quite enjoy such and such, and you've never been able to reveal that.
Okay, yeah. So I feel that most people do express the don'ts more often than the do's, in my experience as a sex coach. Like it's easier to have that come out than what you do want to try, because there's a bit of vulnerability around, let's try this new thing.
True.
So you can just say, that was great last time we tried that thing, but I didn't care for it that much. Let's put a little spin on it this time and maybe try it a little bit differently. Here's my idea.
Okay.
And then see if your partner's down for it.
So then you start with the touch. What are some other ideas?
Really taking time for your own self-pleasure, figuring out how you like to be touched. Maybe you need to incorporate a toy. Maybe you need to try a new position. Really allowing yourself to introduce new things to your partner, but you have to first explore that on your own, or even have an idea of what you want to do, because it's difficult when you're in a sexual situation and a partner says to you, what do you want?
Right.
What do you want me to do? I want to try something new. What do you want? And you're just like, I I don't know. And so you kind of shut down, and your partner reads that as, oh, I should never ask this again because your reaction was uncomfortable and I don't want to make you uncomfortable. So if you're going to explore that on your own and become comfortable with the idea and the suggestions that you're wanting to offer your partner, then they're going to receive that as like, oh, okay. And it really encourages enthusiasm and creativity and playfulness, which is what I hear a lot of couples wanting to put into their relationships.
So what are some good resources for people as far as if you're wanting to learn about yourself a little bit more and how you can enjoy? Do you have any good resources or books that you have turned to?
Gosh, we'll definitely hire a sex coach, right? Yeah. Book some sessions, explore that. Maybe looking into some erotica, reading erotica, which is basically adult literature, right? And exploring erotica.
50 Shades of Grey. Just kidding.
Oh, don't get me started on that book. But reading erotica and having a little notebook next to the bed where you can write down some stuff. What did you like? What did you dislike? What motivated you? What inspired you? There could be a scene in a book where you were like, oh, that was really hot. I think I want to try that. Share that with your partner. Read them that story and say, did any of that turn you on?
Yeah.
This is what turned me on. Do you want to try it? And that really helps fuel the imagination.
Thank you so much. You didn't make me blush too much.
Yeah,
Not
I told
too
you.
red. Yes. Thank you so much. More information about Christine on our website at katu.com. Coming up next, we're in the kitchen making latkes. Do not go anywhere.